Welcome back to Hyperbole Automotive Road to the Honda Nats, episode 6. Man, it feels like a long time since you and I have had a conversation. It's been a whirlwind since, so let me kind of bring you up to speed, and then I'll tell you why we're standing in front of the pit. Many weeks ago, we finished Pheasantwood, and that was an amazing time at round 2 for the D-Series Cup. The car wasn't running right, it wasn't tuned, we had a million problems. The car then shut off and wouldn't start again. So we then ended up taking it down to CMS. After Andrew at 12 Volt Motorsport widened the Haltech. So that all got done. We then took it down to CMS. They dyno tuned it. We made 120 front wheel horsepower. Crazy. And then we were all set to run at round 3 of D-Series Cup. That was meant to be here at Winton. Literally, the Sat day prior to the Sunday of race day, I get a call from Ash. And he's like, hey, last minute things happening. I was about to dump the oil and I noticed that the timing belt had walked significantly to falling off the cam gear. And we ummed and ahed whether we just risk it for the biscuit, make you guys some awesome content. But then we remembered freshly built motor. And we decided it would be a real big shame if we blew this thing up before we actually got to the Honda Nats as part of the road to the Honda Nats. So we ended up pulling the pin. And then I thought, hey, why don't we supercharge it? Obviously, with a Toyota supercharger. So we actually went and purchased one of those Alibaba superchargers for about 500 bucks. We found some 3D printed plans for like a bracket and the mounting hoses. Ash went crazy and went and bought some crazy 3D printer, which he'll go into at some other time. But we ended up pre-planning all of these things. So we had the bracket to go. We had these awesome carbon bits that Ash printed on the 3D printer. I think they were carbon and nylon, so it was kind of cool. And that was advice that we got to, make sure it was going to resist the heat and be able to operate. So we thought we had all the pieces. The supercharger arrived, looked fresh, looked new. We were pretty happy. And then, as all these projects go, when we went to bolt everything up, it wasn't bolting up. And we had to make a decision. Do we keep pushing forward and try and supercharge this for Honda Nats? Or do we take the Civic as it is, dial it in a lot harder and run it NA? So, about 4 days ago, we decided we're going to run it NA. That's what we did. We shelved the supercharger and we came out to Winton. This is our first time driving the car since Pheasantwood. This is the first time we've driven the car since we drove it home from CMS all those weeks ago after we got it dyno tuned. So I'm super keen to see how the motor really goes, how it performs after it's been tuned, and what we're going to find out. Like, is it going to hold up? Will we make the power we saw on the dyno on the track? And how usable will that power band be? So there's a million things that we're looking forward to today. And honestly, I just want to cut some laps. So hopefully the weather holds. Let's go have some fun. first session, tick. Car in one piece, tick. That was good. That was the first session after the dyno tune, after the failed supercharger attempt, after the timing belt issue that we had last time. That ran great. We put in the new shifter. That took a little while to get used to. It's one of those Jackspania ones, so it's really tight. Inserting gears, it took me a quick minute to kind of work out what gear it is in at what point. The handy that's got a couple of lockouts though, which are super good. I went for an off-road excursion. I was pushing a little bit too hard, carrying a little bit too much speed coming out of the second big right-hander. Went from one ripple strip to the other ripple strip, pushed it a little bit too far, and then next minute, yeah, you'll probably see the footage. But yeah, it was a controlled spin, ended up the right way, drove on nicely, ran to the track, finished out the session. So all in all, massive win.
So, how was the race?
It was great. The weather, magnifico for our Italian audience. No, honestly, the Civic did great. You can hear the rain, probably. The track was like dry, then wet, then really wet, then dry, then wet. And honestly, for a shakedown, like we hadn't driven this car since Pheasantwood, which was a few months ago now. So it enabled us to get out there after the tune, after all the potential supercharging events, and really give the car a go. Yeah, there's a couple of things we need to work on here and there. We need to work on the setup now. Although it wasn't too bad, I did feel it a bit twitchy through the back. So that's something that we need to address. I didn't get a lot of understeer on some of the greasier turns while it was raining and then drying off. Yeah, I did get a little bit of push, but honestly, the little Civic did great. I had a blast. Like every 20-minute session out there, blasting the whole 20 minutes. Foot to the floor, glorious single VTEC-ness of God's motor was brilliant. If I would change anything, I would have liked at least another dry session, because that first session we went out in that was dry, I was trying to find the gears. Luckily, they were in a box. I just had to work out exactly where in the box they were. But that new shifter is actually really good. I'd like it to be a little bit tighter with that side-to-side movement, but after those last few sessions, those last few laps, I really started to get into it. So it feels a whole lot better. The engine's super strong. My driving got a little bit better because just more track time, more seat time. And honestly, once we get the suspension dialed a little bit, this is a very great little car. A great little car. Massive shout out to Andrew at 12 Volt for coming down today. The boys at CMS are also here. Shout out to Ash from Just Cars for coming down and doing what he does every single time. And also dragging the Civic up by himself. Yeah, guys, I did the whole drive and drive thing like a professional racer. I'm a big deal now. I don't know if you've seen the numbers that YouTube does. No, I'm just kidding. No, I live like 52 hours away from anything. So thank you, Ash. I appreciate it. So yeah, we'll take this thing back to the HQ. We'll check the oils, see if anything's leaking, anything weird's happened. And then let's focus on braking, because definitely the brakes start to fade towards that end of that second last session, and yeah, we'll look to see if we can upgrade those, replace them with the suspension, and hopefully maybe get in another test and tune day before Honda Nats, which we have been accepted for. So that's rad. Yeah, so thank you to the Honda Nats people for actually selecting us for Honda Nats, because the whole road to the Honda Nats was really disappointing if we didn't go to the Honda Nats. So thanks. Thank you to Winton, great event, super cruisy, some amazing cars. Lots of Honda boys and girls, so that's rad. Anyway, peace out. See you next time.